Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? My name is Gio Perez. I'm with Christopher Perez, and today we're going to be talking about martial arts in cartoons, animation, and video games. So here you go. So what cartoons have you seen that have a lot of martial arts into them?
Recently, I have seen The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and Part 2. That one is about Batman. He comes out of retirement, and like he's a darker, more rougher guy.
And I mean, how out of retirement, how old is he in this film?
In this film, he's like in his 50s.
50s?
So he returns darker and more ready to like tear people apart and stuff.
I mean, but in reality, I mean, being 50, I don't think you could do so much at 50. I mean, how could Batman do that?
He's Batman. That's about it. But like I remember watching this, and like I would see a bunch of like real combat moves in it. Like I'm talking about boxing skills. I'm talking about like judo throws. Like I'm talking about hapkido locks. You know, like things to break people's like arms and stuff.
Yeah, I know. I remember seeing some of the cartoons where they're doing judo throws and arm locks and things like that. Watching the movie, I mean the live footage of the movie, I know they were using a lot of close combat martial arts, and I think they had a choreographer there that was teaching them how to do something that was called KFM, which is some guy from Spain, I believe.
He's two guys that came
two
up
guys.
With it.
It's a new style where they're doing close combat elbows and knees and things like that. And that's how you saw that it looked kind of rough because it was really close combat, fighting.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I feel like they did a good job, but I feel like they could have used more traditional stylized martial arts, whereas it'd be better if he threw like probably a round kick or seeing something more destructive in a way,
Right, it was just too close.
It was too close. I think that's what it was.
Well, you know what? I personally don't like when I go to the movies and I see the fight scenes the close-ups are too close.
Yeah.
And you see just movements and pretty much sound is doing most of the work where you see the sound, all these breaking things. I like to see movies where you see him actually see him doing it. And I know that that's the advantage of watching, let's say, like a video game where you would see Batman doing some of those moves. I mean, tell me about the video game.
Recently I've been playing Batman Arkham Origins, and in that one you have like this developed fighting style. Like I'm talking about guys attack you from all over the room, so he's using a lot of circular motion movement from like hapkido, and like whereas a guy comes here to grab you, he'll like throw you, and then like people attack you with batons, and then he'll be disarming you, breaking your bones, like just tossing you everywhere, and then you're hopping over guys. Like I'm pretty sure there's guys that could jump over people.
So you saw styles like hapkido and KFM also, or does
it was I feel like it was mostly hapkido in that whole.
Because I remember that Batman, I mean, he learned all these styles of martial arts.
Yeah.
From Jiu-Jitsu to ninjutsu to all these traditional art forms.
Yes.
And I mean, what do you think about that? Because I remember watching the story and then watching the movie, and I know the story it was totally different, Because I remember that. I remember the guy being Asian, and then in the movie he's what's his name? What's the actor's name? Liam Neeson. Yeah. So
Liam Neeson.
Yeah, but I remember him being like an Asian guy in the cartoon.
And in the comics.
In the comics too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe he was also somewhat of Asian descent.
Right. So tell me about that part. I mean, why are they enemies?
Well, I feel like they were enemies because, in the comics, Batman actually started like messing with the League of Shadows. Like he was ruining their operations, and that's when you first meet Ra's al Ghul. Mm-hmm. So like in the comics, he was never ever trained by Ra's al Ghul, whereas in the movie he was trained by him and wanted him to be his successor.
Right.
To like conquer the city, destroy the city,
So that goes off from that
storyline. But okay. I mean, they seem to work on film, but comic book wise, different story.
Yeah, I think that you're able to do better fight scenes like in a cartoon versus realistic fight scenes, because you're not able to do so many of the things unless you have all this wire work, all these things, that could help all these actors out, to be able to do it. And sometimes they use doubles that are able to do flips. But in cartoons, you're able to do so many other things that you can't do in real film.
Yeah.
Unless you're using a lot of special effects.
Exactly.
So in the game, I know you were telling me about the game that you're able to you're pretty much watching like a panoramic view of Batman doing all the fighting scenes.
It's like you could be in a room full of like up to 10 to 12 guys and they're full on just attacking you. Some of them are armored, some of them are just normal bad guys. So like you change your technique according to the person. And then in the game, they actually like send in martial arts experts to fight you. So like you're actually doing a lot more countering with them as opposed to the regular thugs.
Really? Okay. There was another game they used to talk to me about. It was about this something about history, something about assassins or something.
Assassin's Creed.
And what is that about?
Assassin's Creed. Well, the storyline is that there's this like throughout time there were many assassins, like lines of assassins. And like they were all working for, I think they were called the Brotherhood or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then, but the thing is, with that, it goes on to many conspiracy type things, like.
But they use martial arts. They're trained in martial arts, or
no? They're trained with like martial arts. Each assassin had their own like different fighting style in a way, but
right.
they had like hidden blades. So every time they'd go into a move, the blade would pop up to like.
So it almost sounds like they're being like American ninjas in a way.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
In a way, yeah. The storyline starts off in Europe, and then it ends up moving to like the Revolutionary.
And there's no tie-in with Japanese ninjas at all in the game.
Not really. I would say it starts off there it starts off in the medieval time, so you get like this weird fighting style from that time, and then over time like each character ends up developing their own fighting style.
Okay, so let's get away from that. What's the worst game you've seen that has martial art moves?
The worst game
that you want to tell the audience, like, stay away from this game, it's not realistic at all.
I would have to say, like, I'm really not a fan of like the Naruto like fighting games type of arcade type games. Okay. Because like they'll do like some moves, but then out of a sudden you see like this dragon or some weird stuff popping up, and then like that's like a different like, I don't know how to say it, like attack.
Okay.
You would say. How
about the worst cartoon?
Worst cartoon. Worst
cartoon that has the worst martial arts stuff. I
don't know. Like I honestly wouldn't say. Like
because I remember seeing like I think it was called the Fist of the North Star. I think that's the name of the movie.
It's an anime, right?
Yeah, it's an anime. There's a bunch of animes that I've seen, and they're very good. And then if you try to do them on film, they would not look as good as you would see them on cartoon. It's even better. Please keep those movies in cartoon. Don't make real movies, you guys, about this stuff. But I think animation is able to show that in a much better way.
Yeah, because they've always been stuck to like that fantasy, like alternate universe type things, right. But they still keep traditional martial arts in a sense. Because I would say, like, growing up, you hear all these storytellers, like, many warriors, this and that.
Right.
Over time, I guess it gets a little exaggerated, but there's still that core where it tells you, like, no, it actually could have happened. Like, it started from a real battle,
What movies, just real fast, tell them what movies you recommend and what video games you recommend that have martial arts in them.
Movie-wise, I would recommend go watch that Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2. Like, it shows a bunch of like hardcore like martial arts fighting in that. Video game-wise, I would say I would go try out the Batman Arkham games. Like, if you're really into all that fighting style and learning how to want to counter a group full of guys, I would say that.
So if you guys practice some sort of ninjutsu or hapkido or anything that has to do with throws and moves and locks, get those games, you guys. You might see some of the moves that your teacher is teaching you. In combat, okay? And one more thing, where can people find you if they want to question you or anything?
You guys can find me on Facebook. Just type in Christopher Perez. That's you could go to my email. It's Cs_Perez818@yahoo.com. And those are the best places to reach me.
Good. My name is Gio Perez, you guys, and you can reach me at www.facebook.com/LA Martial Art, or you can reach me at lamartialart@gmail.com. And send us those questions. If you have any movies, anything you would like to talk about, any suggestions, send us an email, you guys. Thank you for watching. See you soon.